Om Sahana Vavatu Sahano Bhunaktu Sahaviriyam Karvavahai Tejasvinavaditamastu ma Vidvishavahai. Om Shanti Shanti Shanti. May God protect both teacher and student. May He nourish us together. May we work together with great energy. May our studies be enlightening. May there be no hate among us. Om, peace, peace, peace. So, I guess we should start from where we ended last session. If I remember right, I requested all of you to find some time to think about what makes you happy, what gives you happiness. Where is the happiness? Is it, do you get happiness in what you do? Do you find happiness in whatever that you are doing? Where is the happiness? Is this everlasting? Is this happiness that is what you wanted? This was my suggestion to contemplate. I hope you've remembered or you had some time to think about it. Anybody like to share? Whatever is your idea of happiness. Is happiness something that you find happiness after what you wanted, what you desire, and you achieve? Does that give you happiness? Does the happiness come and go? Are you throughout the time happy? Whatever that you are doing for what ultimately? Whatever is your activity, whatever is your profession, whatever is your career. It may be being a mother or being a housewife or being a wife or whatever is your role, professionally or otherwise. Every activity ultimately is undertaken to gain the happiness or spread the happiness. Is that true? So probably you are not clear about it, that the actual happiness is not in external object. It's not in what you do. It's not in what you achieve. It's not what you receive or what you spread. Because all that your activity, all that you do might give you satisfaction or call it happiness, but it's not everlasting. It's happiness for a moment, for the time being. And therefore, if you are seeking happiness, look inward, look within yourself. The happiness is always within us. It's not outside. It's not an object. You may acquire any material, any luxury, any go on holidays or vacation or being with family and friends, give you happiness for sure, but that's just for time being. The true happiness lies within you, within all of us. It's just that we have never looked, we have never thought that there is something to look within us. And the treasure is within us. So it is like you enjoy the company of your friends or family or your partners. But the day you start enjoying your own company by yourself, then you may be alone, but you may never be lonely. Being alone is okay. It's actually good, but you will never feel lonely if you enjoy your own self, your own company. Talking to your own self, contemplating on your character, your values, and finally notice and realizing that you are that Sat Chit Ananda, existence, reality, and bliss, or existence, consciousness, and bliss. And that bliss is not just happiness. That bliss is eternal. That bliss never leaves you. It's always with you. You are that. There's no question of living. You are that. So in this context, I wanted to continue slightly with deviation of how what's the difference between when you visit a temple or a place of worship and you engage yourself in some kind of chanting or prayers or singing kirtans or bhajans. What exactly is happening that time? Whatever you are reciting, most of it is actually to glorify the Creator. Call it Ishvara, call it God, call whatever name. But most of the time, it is to praise. It is to praise the glory of divine or divinity. And while doing that, while praising the divinity, you are seeking the blessing. That's the sum of your purpose of your singing bhajans or kirtans or chanting or prayers. But it must be the chanting and the singing of bhajans and kirtan is out of attitude of gratitude and surrender. And most important, with love, bhakti. Bhakti is nothing but love. Love towards divinity. So you engage your chanting or your bhajans or singing kirtans or prayers out of gratitude, and you want to express your gratitude to that supreme power or to the God, and you praise the God. When I said God, the God which we know, all-knowing, omnipresent, eternal, and it is everywhere. Existence filled with love, light, peace, and joy. That supreme power, that all-knowing power, you praise. And in singing the glory of the Creator, you are seeking some blessings. And sometimes you are seeking guidance. Sometimes you are seeking what we call the material wealth or some kind of happiness. So you are all the time, while chanting and singing, you are seeking, you are expecting. So it is an expression of your gratitude with love, and yet seeking its blessings and favors. And that's all about your kirtans and prayers, bhajans. So it is more of a dialogue or a conversation going out of you. Yeah, you are singing, you are chanting. Your attitude of love and gratitude is to seek the blessing and guidance and whatever favors. But if that is happening when the bhajans or kirtans, or let's call it bhajans, and the bhakta, the one who is singing, yeah, the devotee, and to whom it is, prayer is directed to the God or deity, Ishvara or deity, Bhagwan. So it is a bhajan, bhakta, and Bhagwan is the activity within these three. Yeah, bhajans are sung by bhakta towards Bhagwan. So there is the existence of three things. Like we spoke earlier, seer, seeing, and seen. Yeah. Similarly, this is bhajans, bhakta, and Bhagwan. So it's an activity which is, let's say, directed outward. And that's mostly practiced in almost all religious faith. In spirituality, it is one step further. You do have the attitude of love, gratitude, but at the same time, you are not seeking anything. You are not expecting anything. And that is when you start looking within yourself. And that happens when you are in silence and stillness. We call it meditation. When you are with your own self and you are enjoying your own self, and your self is looking for higher self within yourself. So it is a Jivatma looking for Paramatma in Atma itself. And so there is in the beginning an effort or some amount of doing. It culminates when you don't have to do anything. You don't have to chant anything or do any prayers or bhajans or kirtans. Instead, you observe complete silence. Now, silence does not mean the absence of words or absence of sound. Silence also means the silence of your mind and the stillness. Stillness of your body and stillness of your thoughts. When you are in that mode, you are listening more than speaking. The conversation is received and not sent out. It is inbound, not outbound. In kirtans and bhajans, you are singing, you are expressing it. In meditations, you are receiving it. What are you receiving? You are receiving the divine light. You will have a sensation of light. You have a sensation of vibrations. You have a sensation of love. You have a sensation of enjoying your own self within yourself. And when you are in that state of meditation, whatever you are seeking, without seeking, it is revealed. And that's the beauty of meditation. You are not doing anything. You're only observing silence and stillness. And once you are in the mode of stillness and silence, suddenly your portals are open up. The cosmic portal open up to you. It is always open. It is always flowing. The grace is always flowing all the time. But we, through our mind, create the blockage. And because of our mind conditioning and our chattering of mind, we do not receive it. And therefore, the silence and stillness is required for you to receive that grace. And certain wisdom, certain truth, certain insight are revealed. And it happens without your expectations. You did not aim for it, you did not expect anything, and yet certain emotions, certain thoughts are revealed. And it comes while you are being fully aware. Remember, meditation is not going into deep sleep. Now, there is a difference between deep sleep and meditation, a very subtle difference. In meditation, you are fully conscious. You are fully conscious. But your consciousness is merged with the supreme consciousness, which means your head has traveled and joined the heart. So it's a journey from head to heart. And when you are within your heart, within your own self, recognizing the divinity within yourself, only then what we know as third eye opens up, certain revelation, certain grace is received. You will have sensation of, some people call it a golden light entering into you. Some people has the experience of a tunnel opens up and golden particles are flowing into you. And these are different manners in which you experience the wisdom, the higher knowledge. What is that higher knowledge? The supreme knowledge is of oneness, that you are Atma, or spirit, consciousness, Brahman. And when you experience that, when you get that clear, that's your awakening. That's your realization. There is nothing any more great that could happen. Everyone who have realized, they do not have different appearance. They look like us. It is only the attitude changes. They will behave in the same manner. They will do the activity what they have to carry on in the same manner as before. But only difference comes, which is that while they perform their role or whatever activity they have to undertake, with the clear understanding and that I am not the doer. I'm just performing it because I am obliged to do it. And that's the only difference. All the saints, all the rishis, all the Buddhas who are awakened, they did not become inactive. Rather, they become more active. But their activity had no attachment. Their doing was without any attachment, because they knew that they are just doing as a performing their role. They were completely established in who they are, what they are, the consciousness. And they knew that everything that surrounds is the same consciousness, and there is no difference, there are no others, the oneness. All is one, and one is all. So at our level, in our sadhana, one must know the importance of dharana and dhyana is to practice whereby you are giving up chanting prayers, bhajans, kirtans ultimately, and all doing should stop and enjoy being, remain being. Yeah, it's like a flower. The flower has the fragrance, but the flower does not know that what fragrance it spreads. But that fragrance is the quality of the flower. The flower himself or herself does not know the quality. It is the nature of flower to spread the fragrance. And that happens without doing anything. So when you stop doing and establish being as a being, the natural flow of love, light, oneness will begin. And that's our original nature. It's just that we have to rediscover it. We have forgotten. We have forgotten that we are the same what we are seeking, or what we are expecting, what we are looking for. As I said in the beginning, we are looking all the time for being happy. We do not know that we are the happiness. There is nothing to look for it. We are the happiness. There is nothing to look for it. So the one-line summary for the religious activity of prayers, bhajans, kirtans, chanting is praising the Lord and seeking the grace. And in meditation, the spiritual activity, there is nothing to do, there is nothing to chant, there is nothing to praise. It is only to realize that you are that. You are what you are seeking. And that's the goal of your meditation, to realize there is nowhere to go, there is nothing to seek, there is nothing to do, there is nothing to praise, there is nothing to listen, there is nothing to know, because you are all that knowledge that you are seeking. You are the wisdom that you are seeking. And because you are that, there is no place to go. There is no time to wait. It is here and now. You just have to close your eyes and look within yourself. Look within yourself. So the reason I try to speak today on this is that we make every yoga class 5 minutes or 10 minutes of dharna and dhyana. It's just to be able to maintain silence and stillness, which is the first step. If your body is not able to stay in the silence and stillness, your mind will be not in control to maintain silence and stillness. So it starts from the gross level, the body level, physical realm. Then you go to your mental field or mental level where you observe silence and stillness. And when gross body and mental body are in that mode of silence and stillness, your pranamaya kosha, your prana, will flow in a very subtle manner, and you will feel that your inhalation, your prana, is nothing but the life force, is nothing but the same supreme energy that is enabling your body to survive. So it is all interconnected. In yoga, prana is considered as Om, and Om represents divinity. And that's why the chanting of Om while pranayama or after pranayama in the beginning of dharana is important. The sound of Om is connected to divinity because that sound generates vibration. And that vibration is the same as what is known at the cosmic level as Hiranyagarbha. At micro level, at our level, as the physical realm, what we know as prana is the same at the cosmic level known as Hiranyagarbha. And the prana has a vibration, and it is the same vibration that exists in entire manifestation. And this is how the pranayama and the prana is significant. It provides us the vital energy and life force. So this is the first step in dharana. And that is why most of the time I prefer to do the dharana of watching your breath. It's not simply watching, but the watching of breath with the being fully aware that what is happening without our effort is so significant. It is so vital for our body to survive. And without body, there is no realization of being Brahman. So in the beginning, we spoke about the subject of Tattva Bodha, where we say, where do we come from? Why do we come? What is the purpose of life? Where do we go after this life? All is because of this body that we are able to realize. In the subtle body or light body or the mental body, the realization is very hard. It's people who have traveled other vibration, other frequency during their meditation or out of their transcendental meditation, they have realized that it is only in this frequency, in this field, that our prarabdha karmas can be nullified or can be achieved or can be squared up. In other realm, which means after you drop your body and your spirit travels and spirit stays in different cosmic realm, you only have the subtle body, which is your prana and your mental. There is no physical body there, and therefore the karmic account takes long time to dispose of or fructify. That's why the importance of this lifetime here on this planet, on this earth, on this frequency. It is always the prana. This is the reason why in meditation we watch prana or pranayama or bring the awareness to inhalation and exhalation. So the religious activity of singing, chanting is extremely important initially until you realize that we have to find that divinity within us, not only in the places of worship, but it is within us. And that time, through our prana, we have to watch the prana sustaining our body and mind, and then focused on what is that consciousness, what is that energy. That's question, that focus, be with that. And then when you are in that state, in that mode of asking question and contemplating on that question, meditation happens. You are not the doer. You are not doing it. It just happens. And when that happens, you will have all the wisdom, you will have all the knowledge, you will have all the answers. It is only when you are out of that mode of oneness, we call it coming out of dhyana, you would not be able to describe your experience because it's beyond your expression. The experience and the feeling that you get when you are in that mode. It could be a couple of minutes or it could be more. And as I always maintain, yoga or Raj Yoga is ultimately, it's all about being able to sit comfortably, maintain silence, if possible, solitude, and complete stillness. And stop doing anything. You don't have to do particular chanting or particular manner of breathing. Very natural form and state of being. And then maintain that silence and stillness as long as you can. And time comes when you have that realization. Time comes when you have the glimpse. Once you have it, it becomes you. You don't have to do it, it happens. Which becomes like meditative state. You may be active, you may be busy doing what you do, but your attitude, your mental frame or state of mind would be of oneness, of love. And that's it. That's spirituality. After all, spirituality is to know, to realize that we are spirit. Spirit, the other word of consciousness, a chit. And that Sat Chit is Sat, which is eternal. And it is Ananda, which is blissful. Shivoham, Shivoham, Soham, Sat Chit Ananda Swarupoham. I am Shiva. I am Shiv. Shiv is consciousness, supreme consciousness. I am that. And that is the truth, eternal and blissful. So try that you are able to contemplate and just engage your mind. And the best practice probably is to take a break of just 1 minute every 1 hour in doing whatever activity you are doing, however busy you may be, in whatever form of action or activity. Just take a break of 1 minute every 1 hour. Close your eyes. Quickly watch your breath and ask question, what am I? And get back to your activity again. Do whatever that you are doing, but try to practice this. Take a break of just 1 minute every 1 hour. Yeah, you can set an alarm every 1 hour, break of 1 minute. Quickly close your eyes, watch your breath, ask that question to yourself, what am I? That's all you do. You'll see after about 1 week or 10 days of doing that, every 1 hour, 1 minute, 1 hour during your waking period. In 1 week time, you will feel that you should spend more time sitting and asking that question. And that's the beginning of your dharana, sitting with silence and stillness. That dharana of questioning, what am I? Continue to convert into dhyana. And answer will be revealed. You will receive the answer. Or question will dissolve. You will have wisdom. You don't need that question anymore. Unfortunately, we are so busy in focusing in sense gratification. Our all lifestyle, all activity is only to gratify our senses, whether senses of taste, seeing, hearing, touching, whatever, all 5 sense organs. Everything that we do is to satisfy our sense organs. Ultimately, that's the only reason. Yeah. You eat because it tastes good, not because you are hungry. That's gratification of your taste, smell. Every activity, you overdo it just to gratify your gratification of your sense organ. So, and that's okay. That's okay. You can do that, provided you are not attached to it. So you continue in whatever career, whatever profession you are, but try to convince your mind to take a break of 1 minute, close your eyes. Now, what is closing eyes? What is the significance? Closing eyes means most desires come through these doors of seeing, hearing and taste and touch. The desires are born out of this. When your sense organs are in your control, which means you close your eyes, you maintain silence, that means there is no other sound or noise that you hear to disturb you. You are maintaining yoga. First lesson we spoke about swacha and socha, which means maintaining cleanliness, which means your touch is not giving you any perceptions, any desires. Yeah? And chanting Om initially is to satisfy your tongue, your taste. There's saliva that you take when you chant Om, and then you're having saliva which works on all your 5 sense organs. If you're aware, then those organs can continue performing its role. So take a break of 1 minute, close your eyes, ask your question, what am I? That's one way. If that doesn't give you the revelation, grace, then there is other method. Other method is to keep saying, I am not this and I am not that, neti neti. So there are 2 ways, I am iti iti or neti neti. Iti iti is I am the consciousness, I am this, I am that. Yeah, that consciousness. Neti neti is to negate what you are not. You are not body, you are not mind, you are not your breath, you are not the different worldly achievements and labels and tags that you have received. You are not that. Neti neti. That is another method. It's like taking different boats to reach the other side of the river. You can pick up any boat, you can use any method to come to realize, and I am that. Any doubt, any question? You have anything that you cannot understand or follow, or you have a doubt?
How to increase this period of detachment? 1 minute of detachment and then you go back into the world and then you're stuck again. How do I get out of that trap?
No, so the question of attachment or detachment arises only when you are in awareness, or you are in ignorance that you are BMI, you are body, mind, intelligence. Your first sadhana, first nidhi abhyas is to realize that this body, this mind, this intelligence is something that is acquired, is something that is gifted to you. It is not who you are. It is not what you are. It is that power, that energy, that consciousness that enables these 3 body, mind, intelligence to perform. That is first step to do the sadhana. When you realize that you are not those 3, there is no question of attachment. Because you know the attachment is only time being. The body you have, there is no denying. You do. We all have our body. We all have mind and thoughts, perceptions. We all have our intelligence. But that's not permanent. That's not eternal. And therefore, ultimately, what is not eternal gives you pain and suffering. And whatever gives you pain and suffering, why would you have attachment? Whether it is your body, mind, intelligence, or your near and dear one. If you recognize that that's just the body, mind, intelligence, it's a combination of that BMI, There's a question of attachment to that because it is not permanent. And it always gives you pain and suffering at one time or the other, for a shorter point of time or longer period of time. Call it disease, call it sickness, call it, emotions. Initially, it is a pain, and it prolongs, it becomes suffering. But when you say this is just a body, I have a pain, but I will not suffer because I know I am not that. I'm not saying it's very easy. That's why it is said to pursue the spiritual life is walking on a sword's edge. Although it's the easiest for the one who has realized certain wisdom. But until then, it's very difficult to. It's difficult because of our mind conditioning, nothing else. It's nothing else. Yeah, it is only that. Our mind conditioning, for example, in many religion and spiritual teaching, it is said the sansar or the world is nothing but dukkha or suffering, a pain. Yeah. Whereas different faith of, including Hinduism, including our Gita teaching, says everything that is existing, everything that you can perceive is that consciousness. It is me. The Lord Krishna himself says, all that you see, all that you perceive, all that you do, it's only coming to me. I exist alone, nothing else. If the Lord exists alone and nothing else, how can it be pain and suffering? So it's a contradictory, apparently contradictory, but ultimately it is not contradictory. It's just different level of understanding. Gautam Buddha teaching says everything is suffering, everything, this life is suffering, dukkha, hardship, pain, because you are born at the time of birth, yeah, baby cries. So the life begins with crying. Baby cries as baby comes out of the womb. He cries. But in that crying is the sign of survival, sign of life. So there is a crying there. And until your journey continues, till you die, one way or the other, there is some form of pain, suffering, emotional torture, all kind of experiences, unpleasant experiences. That's what Buddha says. That's why they say sansara is dukkha. The world is nothing but pain and suffering. But he did not mean that it is for all. It is for most, but not for all. And why he said it is for most? Because we attach our self as what we look like. And what we look is our body. What we represent is our mental body, our mansik, attitudes, mental attitude, mind and thoughts. And our power of discrimination, buddhi, intelligence. That is all of us, rather most of us, we identify with that. That results in pain and suffering. And that's why Buddha says it's suffering, it's dukkha. But the time when Buddhism came, when he got a Buddha Tattva, the element of, what is Buddha? Buddha Tattva is the awakening, realization, liberation. Yeah. Then he realized, and he says, how can be pain and suffering? Because everything that exists is nothing but that supreme consciousness, that supreme being, that Brahman. So there is no difference between creation and creator, ultimately. Initially, it appears to be two, creator and creation. And that's Dvaita. From that level, you graduate to realize that creation and creator is one, which becomes Advaita, non-dual. Our Vedas is talking initially 75-80% of about the first level of Dvaita, where there is a creator and creation. Yeah. But last 10-20%, it is Vedanta. It becomes Vedanta, end of knowledge, which is non-dual. There is no duality, oneness. So the attachment would dissolve once you contemplate and realize that I am consciousness. And it can happen on the spot, here and now. The process may take time of realizing it, but when it happens right on the spot. So-called attachment is actually no attachment. We all have what we call attachment to our family, our, let's say, parents or children or friends or near and dear one. But what happens ultimately when you lose? The life still continues. Life goes on. And time comes when the pain and suffering of losing someone reduces. How does that happen? It just happens because attachment is never permanent. It's never permanent. Love can be permanent, but not attachment. And there is a difference. If there are no questions or anything to share, let us chant Om and conclude. Asatoma Sagamaya Tamasoma Jyotirgamaya Mrityurma Amritam Gamaya Loka Samasta Sukhino Bhavantu Loka Samasta Sukhino Bhavantu Samasta Loka Sukhino Bhavantu Om Shanti Shanti Shanti. Thank you, God, for giving us air to breathe. Thank you, God, for giving us water to drink. Thank you, God, for giving us sun for energy. Thank you, God, for giving us food to eat. Thank you, God, for giving us good health and happiness. Thank you, God, for giving us positivity. Thank you, God, for giving us all that we deserve. Thank you, God, for your love, your protection, your guidance, your blessings. Thank you, God, for the existence. Thank you for giving me a chance to serve you. Thank you.
Thank you, Acharya ji.
Thank you.
Thank you, Acharya ji.
Thank you. Thank you very much.
Thank you, Acharya ji. Thank you so much.
Thank you. Wish you have a good day.
Thank you.